There's something about movies that have a different tone that tends to set people apart. Captain Marvel is no different. Another female lead movie, but is this movie exactly what Marvel promised us? And is it a hit or miss? This is a spoiler review for Captain Marvel. You have been warned from jump if you haven't seen the movie. If you have, stay tuned, and I'm going to give you my points. What's up, everyone? That guy Ralph, third favorite YouTuber. New video time. Captain Marvel spoiler review, as you heard in the intro. If you guys haven't already done so, go back and watch my spoiler free. And I'm going to relate to that video a lot for this one. And also, I will be giving away the movie. So if you haven't watched it, please back out now. I don't want to spoil anything for you if you guys are not happy about spoiling. But I have my 4 points that I grade on: visuals, character, story, and flow. So I will be using that to help me guide my review and give as honest and open opinion as I can. Let's get it. Visuals. First thing everybody always notice. The first thing that always catches your eye, and I feel like the visuals in this movie was the main thing that Marvel got right. And for that, I gave it a 4 out of 5. So for visuals, my main gripe about it, and it wasn't even that big, was some of the Skrulls, their makeup seemed kind of off. There was times that you can tell they were wearing some type of latex, but I didn't think it was that bad. And when at the end of the movie, when she goes like full Super Saiyan, you like to call it, with her powers and her, her mask on, you can see the CGI flick out on that. But other than that, the visuals was good. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Characters, that's right, characters is a big thing because that's what drives the movie and that's what helps the movie progress. So out of 5 points, I gave characters a 2. I know. I'm just going to tell you what I liked about the characters first before I dive deep into what I didn't like. But what I did like was the Skrulls. They were actually very entertaining, and everybody went into it thinking that they were going to be the bad guys because that's what Marvel made it seem. But in reality, they're actually the nice guys or the people who's just trying to live. So shame on you, Marvel. Shame on you. Goose the cat. Goose was fucking adorable and OP as hell. And who knew he can do all that? Also, Nick Fury. Samuel motherfucking Jackson. If you guys are not Samuel Jackson fans, please unsubscribe now. I'm kidding. Please don't unsubscribe. But Samuel Jackson's always dope. And it was good to see Nick Fury with 2 eyes. And I'm actually going to get to that next about his 1 eye. But before I go Jude Law. I believe his name was Jan Rog. It's a weird name. But I don't think I can ever see Jude Law's a bad guy, or from what I remember in any of his movies, but he actually did pretty good. I actually liked when shit hit the fan, you can see his face change, and you can tell there was some type of eagerness about this whole mission that she was even on that made him try to stop it. So shout out to Jude Law for that. But let's move on to what I didn't like of characters, which is the main character, Brie Larson. She was very bland. At one point, I thought maybe she was bland because she was so confused about her past life. She didn't know what the hell was going on. But then I realized she just doesn't have much emotion. When she goes back to Earth, she does start getting her memories back. And we do run into Marie and Monica Rambeau. And even though they're separate from what the comics offered, they were very entertaining. But they gave her the most emotion that you see throughout the whole movie, and even then she was very bland. And I'm not even going to get to the whole concept of what they changed, but overall, for her to be the main character and her to be bland, it was a very, 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 very letdown. She's supposed to drive the movie and make people continue to want to watch it, and I was so bored. But shout out to Brie Larson for being a bland person. She was as flat as her ass. But let me move on to the
if it's real.
Story. Story is what keeps the movie going. Story is what makes you entertaining a lot. And for story, out of 5, I gave it 2.5. 2.5, right in the middle. The reason why I gave it right in the middle is because they changed a lot from the comics. I try to give this review an open mind. Marvel, as I said in my spoiler free, Marvel changes a lot. So for people to complain about it, just don't. But you do still want to stick with some of the concepts, and they skipped the whole Miss Marvel. They changed Marvel. That's just the two main gripes of mine. But the story itself was kind of meh, and that's why I gave it right in half, because it wasn't bad. It wasn't that great. She was very confused, but then I feel like you didn't think to question the whole motives behind the scrolls. You just believed everything everyone told you. I don't know. I felt that kind of bland. The fact that she was gone for so many years, the Earth has had so many different invasions, and you mean to tell me you've been gone that long? First of all, Avengers 1 dealt with a big galactic crisis. Loki down near grabbed, crazy ass army, was trying to take over New York City and the world, and you were gone? Now how fucking far are you? And why hasn't Nick Fury been called you? He wasn't even sure about the Avengers in the first film, but yeah, he's not going to call Captain Marvel, who he met years before that? Makes no sense. And obviously she was important if he named the whole damn team after her damn airship, or whatever you want to call it. Regardless, the story was a 2.5. It was entertaining, and it made sense, but it was a 2.5 for me. It is right in the middle. It was good for good, but it was bad for it to be a Marvel film. Which brings me to my last thing, is flow. Flow is how the movie progressed. It was entertaining, and did the story help you? 2.5 out of 5. Right in the middle again. The beginning of the movie was a lot of mystery. Then you start seeing them slowly trying to piece up together. The middle kind of went so fast. It jumped from her hating the Skrulls to her connecting with the Skrulls to hating the Kree, which you kind of got the feel of. You knew what was going to happen, but yet you didn't know what was going to happen. Like I said, the main shocking thing I found of this film was the fact that the Skrulls wasn't as evil as everybody made it seem. They were a lot nicer, and they weren't the bad guys. It was actually the Kree. So if you didn't read comics, I felt like that would be a shock to you, but we all knew what was kind of happening. I don't know. But I try to go into this with two different aspects. The part of the reason why the flow was kind of meh for me is because Brie Larson was so bland that it made a lot of scenes seem kind of like too slugged out. Every scene that I enjoyed of Brie Larson was always something else of what she's interacting with someone else. Nick Fury dialogue, Monica Marie Rambeau, the Skrulls, they were very good. Just overall, 2.5. They, like I said in the last one, they did change so much in the comics, and it shows. The flow of this movie, I really felt like they did exactly what they were going to do. They did in-between movie. It was a money grab, and they just threw in Captain Marvel for the sake of Endgame, and they picked up a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and they're trying to play her. But out of 20 points, each point's 5, it grades up to 11 out of 20, right over 10. This movie was very, very, very basic. Shout out to my boy Conrad for what I'm about to say, but he felt, and I totally agree, that this movie was very low for Marvel standards, and I agree. This movie was good in the general aspect of films, but it wasn't as good as what Marvel has offered. And seeing this movie, you can start, I don't know about you guys, but it worries me knowing the fact that Marvel has hit that wall where a lot of their great ideas already been wasted out. They already drained it out. So now it's like, what next? And I felt like Captain Marvel was supposed to be that breath air. Can't talk. Let me run that back. That breath, fresh air. There you go. I think that's the best I can do, guys. But Black Panther sucked it all up. Black Panther took what Captain Marvel was trying to do and sucked whatever they could up, made it different, made it something what people could love, and it made people like a character that they really didn't think about, and they missed on this. And as I said in the last one, you can completely not see this movie and it wouldn't even matter. The only things that were related to the whole Endgame was the mid-credit scene where she answers the call that Nick Fury hit at the end, and they constantly kept trying to get a hold of her, which we all knew that was going to happen. And it was cool to see her eventually land to Earth, and the small dialogue we seen with her and Black Widow, but even that was kind of meh, you know, Captain versus Captain, but she's not my Captain. Captain America, that's my boy. But, and Nick Fury losing his eye. I want to get back to that. In one of the films, he mentions, I believe to Captain America, maybe, but he says, what was that line?
Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
Yeah, that line. The last time he trusted someone, playing in the cat's faces with trusting somebody? Making Goose lose his eye was very, very, very weak. They could have went about that a whole different way. I was hoping to see it inside type of like battle or fight, and apparently the cat just got mad and scratched his eye out. Also, the whole Avenger on the plane, I thought that was very cheesy. It didn't even matter. That stuff that was cool to see, and it related to the Marvel Universe, but they didn't really care. Also, the movie just wasn't worth the watch. Please catch it on DVD if you have the opportunity. Maybe you have some like extra money in your pocket and you want to see a film. It's alright to see with your family. Also, shout out to the Stan Lee cameo when he's reading Mallrats. That's 2-in-1. Kevin Smith is in the Marvel Universe. Shout out to Kevin Smith. That's my boy. Jersey stand up. And overall, this movie was just meh. 11 out of 20 is very low. From my knowledge, that's probably one of the lowest I've graded a superhero movie that came out in theaters. I'm not a hard person to please. I'm very simple. I'm a simple person. And for you to give me this mediocre film and me to say, nah. Marvel pushed the envelope so much with women empowerment. And the only thing that you got the feel of that they were women. But it didn't make you feel like you were proud to be a woman. It was just like a woman lead with a woman supporting cast and doing women shit. But it wasn't like Wonder Woman where she goes, hey, you're a woman, be proud of yourself, you know, you did this. No, it was just more like, I'm a woman and I'm doing this. It was a whole different ball game. They didn't push the agenda in a positive way. It was more like a feminist kind of way. Like, I'm a female and I could be in the army. Like, we didn't fucking know that. Like, the shit hasn't been out there for years, or always and that was the only scene that I felt like was woman empowerment when she kept getting up, and I'm like, I can go for fucking anybody. The hell are you talking about? I've seen church videos of people who couldn't walk, and they put the Holy Ghost and get the fuck up. That's the same thing that they did in Captain Marvel. I don't know. That was my my small rant. This movie really did. It didn't disappoint me because I went into it mid expectations, but even my mid expectations kind of just didn't really exactly hit. And this movie actually traumatized me to go see Far From Home. I know it's two different characters and two different movies, but when you see an in-between film, now you're going to go into a second guessing whether it's going to be a Black Panther or Captain Marvel. And I shouldn't have that standards. I should at least get something right in the middle. I don't know, man. It just wasn't that great. But that wraps it up for my review. Guys, tell me what you think of it. And drop down your comments and your ideas and your thoughts of the film. All right. We're closing up the video. And you got that couple seconds where you could hit subscribe. And you can watch a couple videos related to the channel as well as check out a playlist. So, don't mind me, just go right here and hit one of those videos.